What if I told you, right now, at this exact moment, someone on Earth is already living tomorrow, while someone else is still stuck in yesterday? Well, in New Zealand, it's already tomorrow. But in Hawaii, it's still yesterday. Same planet, same moment, 2 different days. Now leave Earth, go to the moon, and something strange happens. Time actually changes, not just on the clock, but in reality itself. But this is nothing, because near a black hole, time doesn't just change, it breaks. 1 hour could be years somewhere else. This idea of time didn't appear in modern science first. It appears in ancient revelation. In the Quran, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of what you count. And in the Bible it's mentioned, with the Lord, 1 day is like 1,000 years. Different scriptures, same idea. So ask yourself, was this just poetry? Or were they pointing to something about time we're only now beginning to understand? Everything you just heard is only the beginning, because the way we experience time here on Earth is not the full picture. According to both the Quran and the Bible, time is not only different from place to place, it is different from state to state, existence to existence. Your life didn't begin the moment you were born, and it won't end the moment you die. There was a life before this one. There is a life after this one. And in between, there is a state where time feels completely different. Let's start with a life you know. This one, the one you measure in years, birthdays, and memories. Right now, your entire existence is built on time. You count your age, your achievements, your regrets in years. But the moment you die, everything changes. Because according to the Quran, after death, you don't disappear. You enter a different state of existence, often referred to as al-barzakh, a place between this life and the day of judgment. And here's where it gets strange. Time there doesn't feel like time here. The Quran describes people on the day of judgment saying, "We only stayed a day, or part of a day," even though they lived full lives on earth. And the same idea appears in the Bible. You are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Now think about this. The average human life, 60, 70, maybe 80 years old. But in the afterlife, it could feel like a few hours. Now imagine something bigger. What about Prophet Adam, the first human being? If humanity has existed for thousands of years, and if he has been in that state since the beginning, then by our time, that's thousands of years. But in the next life, it could feel like 1 year only. So what is time, really? And if that's true, then everyone who has ever died, from the beginning of humanity until now, is not experiencing a long wait. They are all simply waiting for the same moment, the day of judgment, and to them, it feels like nothing. Now here's where it gets even more unsettling, because this is not your first existence. But before we go deeper, if this makes you question reality, subscribe, because what comes next changes everything. According to the Quran, before you were born, you were already alive, not in a physical body, but in a different state. The Quran describes a moment where all souls were gathered, and God asked all of us, "Am I not your Lord?" And every soul responded, "Yes, we testify." Think about what that means. You lived for a moment before this life, but you remember nothing of it. Even in the life of Jesus Christ, time appears in symbolic phases. He repeatedly spoke about 3 days, the period between death and resurrection, a transition between 2 states of existence. Not just an event, but a passage through different realities of time. So ask yourself, how long was that moment? Seconds? Years? Something beyond time itself? So think about it. You lived a life before this one that you don't remember. You're living a life right now that feels long, real, permanent, and you will enter a life after death where all of this might feel like a moment. The Quran tells us, on the day they see it, it will be as if they had remained only an afternoon or a morning. And the Bible echoes the same idea. For 1,000 years are like yesterday when it is past. So what you call years, what you measure in birthdays, milestones, memories, may not be what they truly are, because time is not fixed. It changes with where you are and what state you exist in. And maybe this life you're holding on to so tightly, this life you think is long, is actually the shortest part of your existence. So the question is not, how much time do you have? But what is your time really worth? If one day it will all feel like a moment,